In this video, I'm going to be vibe coding with the newly released BridgeSpace 3, which is now live on Product Hunt. For the past 3 months, I've been using BridgeSpace as my daily driver when vibe coding, and I have to say, this version 3 release is the biggest update to BridgeSpace since it initially got launched. I'm going to be creating a mobile app. I'm going to be creating marketing videos. I'm going to be making updates to the BridgeMind website. You're going to learn a ton, and you're also going to learn why BridgeSpace 3 is the best agent development environment on the market. The first thing that we're going to build is a mobile app. So to do this, all you have to do is click the plus button and start a new workspace where you have 3 options. You can choose between a bridge space, a bridge swarm, and a bridge canvas. We're going to choose BridgeSpace for now. I'll get into Bridge Swarm and Bridge Canvas a little bit later in the video. You then set up your workspace. So you can either navigate to whatever folder that you want on your computer. So for example, I can CD into my desktop and then CD into BridgeMind, or you can just select this. And it's much easier to just navigate if you just want to use the UI to navigate to whatever folder you want to open up this workspace in. You then choose how many terminals you want, so how many coding agents you actually want inside of this workspace. So let's just get started with 2. And what's really cool is you also have access to presets. So no other ADE does this, but you have presets where, for example, I could just click this preset and it launches 4 Claude Code agents just like that in the directory that I want them to launch in. It's very, very nice to do that. But let's go back to creating this bridge space. Let's CD back into desktop, and then let's go over to BridgeMind and let's launch 2. And you can choose between whatever agents you use. So you can choose Codex, Claude, Gemini, OpenCode, Cursor, Droid, or Copilot. We're going to launch 1 Codex and 1 Claude. You can also enter custom commands as well. So let's launch these 2 terminals, and these 2 terminals are going to launch. We have 1 Claude Code agent and 1 Codex agent, and now here is our workspace ready to go. I do have an issue with this workspace, and the issue that I have is that I need a couple more coding agents in order to build out a mobile app. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to this right tab here. As you guys can see, I have the browser pulled up. And at any time, I can just collapse this or expand this as much as I want, just depending on how much space you need for your workspace. You can also drag it. But we have access to a browser. We have an access to the IDE where you're able to actually see what's going on in the code base. And then you also have access to this new bridge agent. So this is new in the BridgeSpace 3 update, and this agent has complete access to your workspace. It has context to your code base. It has context to what's going on inside of each agent, and it also has tools which we've built custom into the bridge agent so that it's actually able to take actions on your behalf and that it can even prompt agents for you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Hey there, Bridge. I want you to launch 4 more Codex agents, 4 more Claude Code agents, and 2 OpenCode agents.
All 10 agents up and ready.
Okay, so as you can see, Bridge here was able to launch all of the agents in the workspace. So without me doing anything, this agent has full access to the workspace and is actually able to orchestrate your agents for you. I now need you to orchestrate these agents to all work together so that they are able to build a new app called BridgeSpace app, which is going to be a React Native Expo app that uses Nativewind and follows the existing theme and styling and marketing principles that you see in the BridgeMind UI. Note that this app needs to interface with the BridgeMind API, and it also needs to have core functionality that allows it to integrate and dispatch with the BridgeSpace desktop application, BridgeSpace Tari, in this folder. I need you to now help me build out the initial UI and functionality for this app. For now, let's just focus on the initial styling, branding, and create a welcome screen as well as a login flow that allows us to be able to open up the app, log in, and see a dashboard where we are able to dispatch actions to BridgeSpace Tari.
Assigning tasks. Swarm test. They're planning and building BridgeSpace principles now.
Okay, guys, so all of our agents are running here. I did not prompt these agents. This was all Bridge, and you can see even one of our agents here is already completed. This is also another feature that's new inside of BridgeSpace 3, which is the notification system. So if you guys heard that little ding, that's the notification system. So whenever your agents are completed, you could be in a different workspace over here, let's say, and if I go over here, I can just do jump to pane, and it opens up that pane, and it's right here, right? So it's ready to be prompted again. But one thing that I want to note about what's happening here, you guys saw that Bridge was able to prompt all of the agents for me. I just had to speak my prompt into Bridge, and it gave all of these agents different tasks. And something that's really, really cool about this is since it has access to the code base, it's able to prompt correctly with best practices. So even here, for example, you can see that this one, it said create new React Native Expo app called BridgeSpace app in Workspace root. Match BridgeMind UI, BridgeMind UI Tailwind config, and then the BridgeMind UI lib theme file. It says use Nativewind in it with welcome screen. So you guys can see here that it prompted referencing the actual files that it needed to. So you don't have to write prompts yourself anymore. Bridge does it for you. While BridgeSpace is building our mobile app, the next thing that I'm going to show you guys is the BridgeSwarm v3. So there is a new harness inside of BridgeSwarm. This is one of the most popular features and tools inside of BridgeSpace to date. And I'm going to use this and show you guys how to use it. So we're going to build a marketing video using BridgeSwarm. So I'm going to use Hyperframes. This is a new framework for creating marketing videos. It's similar to Remotion, but a lot of people say that it's better. I've never used it, so we'll get a first look at it today. But with BridgeSwarm, you are able to launch a swarm of agents that have different roles that are able to communicate and message one another. So let's just launch a squad, which is 5 agents. So there's a coordinator, a builder, a scout, and a reviewer. I want my coordinator to be Claude. I want my builder to be Codex. And I want my scout to be, let's use Codex for that one as well. And that looks good. And then the reviewer will be Claude. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go next. And this is where we give the swarm mission. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do at BridgeSpace Tari, which is the application that I want to make a marketing video on. So I'm just going to give it a quick voice prompt here. I want you to create a 30-second marketing video using Hyperframes for BridgeSpace. This marketing video needs to use the BridgeMind logo and be fast-paced but easy to follow. It needs to have actual UI from BridgeSpace and really sell BridgeSpace 3, which is launching today. Okay, that's all I'm going to give it. It's just very simple prompt, but the swarm will actually be able to communicate with one another, and it'll do a little bit better than if you were just prompting a singular instance. So let's go to next here, and I'm now going to CD into the directory that I need this swarm to run in. So it's going to run in the BridgeMind directory, and you can also add supporting context. I'm not going to add any supporting context here, except for, actually, let's go back. I did forget to add the GitHub for Hyperframes. So I'm going to add that in there to the swarm mission. And let's now go here. And this is going to just be called marketing video. And let's do launch swarm. And once the swarm launches, you're going to see this interface. Okay. And as you can see, the swarm is now connected, and at any time you can message any agents or all agents from this swarm. So you can see you can message the coordinator, builder 1, builder 2, scout 1, or the reviewer. The coolest part about BridgeSwarm though is that you can actually see what's going on behind the hood. So if you go over to the chat here, you can watch as your swarm interacts and engages with one another. So you can see here that the first thing that happens is coordinator 1 will give the agents in the swarm their tasks. So you can pause the video here and look at this task that it gave scout 1, but overall, the number 1 task was to review the Hyperframes framework, and then the second task was to review the BridgeSpace UI assets that are available. You can also see that these agents, once they're completed with their tasks, you can see that Scout 1 told Coordinator 1 that task 1 is complete. It posted a code base report in Scout 1 board section, and here are all of its findings. We can also go to Builder 1, and it says that task 2 is complete, that it created a BridgeSpace Tari marketing video Hyperframes assets directory with the logo and screenshots folder. So this is incredible. This is revolutionary. Nobody else is doing this. We just got another message from Scout 1. It says that it's urgent, follow up complete. It cloned Hyperframes to the temporary Hyperframes at commit. I mean, this is incredible, right? These agents are communicating with one another, and each agent with the new BridgeSwarm v3 harness is very, very powerful. Okay, the marketing video is now completed from the swarm. So it says BridgeSpace v3, ship at the speed of thought. It then has this little infographic, spawn 8 agents, ship it. It then shows this screenshot, 12 terminals, 1 workspace, sub-second startup, shows the workspace. And then here is, it says spawn a swarm, watch them ship. And then it says Jarvis, spin up a 4-terminal workspace with Claude, command by your voice. And then here's the 12 handcrafted themes. So just for a one-shot, BridgeSpace v3 launching today, BridgeMind.ai/BridgeSpace. So just for a one-shot, not bad, right? And I think with a follow-up prompt, which we can do, for example, I'll show you guys how this works. I can go over here and I can actually just message coordinator 1 and I can say, okay, that was good, but I'm not a big fan of the unprofessional gradients. Would you review the theme and styling of BridgeSpace and make it a little bit more modern and darker themed? I didn't like all the purple gradients. Fix this and then copy the video over to my downloads directory again. So when I do this, I entered that with Bridge Voice, I submit this prompt, and what's really cool is we can actually go behind the scenes to see what's happening. And what you can see here, if you look at this terminal right here, is it says operator to coordinator 1, and then it passed in my prompt, right? So what's really cool is then that the coordinator is then able to get the other agents running and prompt the other agents based off of what I asked the coordinator to do. So BridgeSwarm v3 harness is shipping live with BridgeSpace 3, and as you guys can see, this is an incredible tool. If you guys have large projects to work on or huge refactors that you need to do, launching a BridgeSwarm is very, very useful. BridgeSpace now has an incredible browser built into it. So literally all these terminals, if I have a link in the terminal, I can just click the link and it literally opens up that link inside of the BridgeSpace browser. And I can open up as many browsers as I want. So I can go to BridgeMind.ai, I can go to OpenRouter if I wanted to, OpenRouter.com, I could go to X, and there's now a new design tool. And if we go to this design tool, what you're gonna see is that you can now select HTML elements. So for example, let's just select this one here, and we're gonna give it a prompt real quick here. I want you to review this and gain a complete understanding of the div element here in the animation that's inside of it. So I can give it this prompt, right? And when I click submit, it's going to open up a new Claude instance. I can also set it to whatever agent I want. So for example, if you use Codex, I could select a different div and you can select whatever agent you want. So Codex, Gemini, OpenCode, and you can submit it to whatever agent. So it's now reviewed this HTML, and what we want to do is we now want to submit that marketing video. So let's drag and drop this. I now want you to replace that animation with this marketing video in the project. So I'm gonna pass in that MP4 video and it knows what div I'm talking about. So if I was working with this, right, and I didn't necessarily like understand what component that actually was inside of the code base, you can just go around and you can select HTML elements. Like for example, if I needed to adjust what this looked like or make this go away, I could just do that very, very easily. Like watch this. So let's say I just select that. I need you to remove this. So we can just submit this. I need you to remove this. It submits it to Claude and Claude goes off and it'll be able to remove it in a second. But this is incredibly powerful. And I think that let's just watch as this works, but it'll be able to input that MP4 and it'll also be able to remove the toolkit, which just can be removed. Boom. Just like that, we now have the marketing video integrated exactly where we need it. And we also have that little pill at the top there removed. So this design tool is incredibly useful and I use it now every single day in my workflow. Another cool feature that's shipping with BridgeSpace 3 is that you now have an IDE that is built into BridgeSpace. So check this out. If you look here, it's connected to the terminals where if something gets outputted here, right, I can just click this and it's going to pull that file up inside of the BridgeSpace editor. So here is that file. I can also click on this one to see that file, this one as well to see that one. So what's really nice about this is it just keeps you in the flow. I hate having to context switch between my editor and like VS Code or Cursor. So this is really nice because Claude does output a lot of files. So if it creates an MD file or it's referencing some other file and it says, hey, I just made this, you want to look at it, right? So you can do that now. For those of you that do read code, you can now do that inside of BridgeSpace. You can check out all the files that are outputted and you can even create and add files as you need, just like you would with any other IDE. All right, guys, so let's now check out this app that was built by Bridge Agent. So you can see that here is the welcome screen. It says build the future, the vibe coding platforms for builders who ship at the speed of thought. Let's see if it actually works though, and if it hooked it up with our API. So welcome back. Let's do continue with email. Here's a little sign in screen. So let's try signing in and let's see. And yeah, okay, it works. So That is really sick. You can see it has the BridgeMind logo. It has everything that it needs. You can see it has my pro plan rendered in and just a few available actions. These aren't hooked up yet, it looks like. Swarm, yeah, these aren't hooked up yet, but this is going to be shipping out with V4 of BridgeSpace as we are going to work on it so that you can actually make it so that you can dispatch actions from your phone. But you guys are seeing it. This is a little Easter egg. This is the first time that we are actually working on it, and you guys saw it here. The thing that built it was Bridge Agent. The initial structure of this was built using BridgeSpace. And that's the big thing about this is that I use BridgeSpace every single day, and I built BridgeSpace using BridgeSpace. This is by far the best agent development environment in the world, no doubt about it, and I use it every day. And I want you to start shipping with BridgeSpace too. 167 days ago, I started vibe coding an app in public live on stream with the goal in mind of making $1 million. And I came into it with the mindset that consistency is the key and that staying power will help you succeed. And that if I just stay consistent and I show up every day, that I will succeed. Current ARR is now $90,000. When I first started that journey, I literally had nothing. I had no community, no following, no platform, no product. And I'm now at $90,000 in ARR. So I want to get to 100,000 in ARR. And I think that with the launch of BridgeSpace 3, I think we can do it. So I just want to show you guys, I want to give you a quick rundown of the different pricing options and know that with the launch of BridgeSpace V3, I'm now going to be giving you guys the option to get 50% off forever if you use code V3 at checkout. So if you guys look at this, V3 at checkout, here is the prices if you use code V3, and that is limited. Here is what comes with your plan. For the basic plan, you get 5,000 credits a month. You get BridgeMind account access. You get access to BridgeSpace. You get access to the multi-agent swarms. You get access to the Bridge Jarvis voice assistant that you saw as it was orchestrating all of those agents. But I recommend the Pro plan because with the Pro plan, you get 12,500 credits. You get everything in basic. You get access to the BridgeMind MCP and Bridge Voice, which is the voice to text tool that I was using in this video. Just remember that if I can do it, you can do it too. And you can look back on my journey and see where I started 167 days ago when I started with nothing. And know that this has all been made possible with vibe coding. And that vibe coding is the future of software development. It is the great equalizer where somebody that is able to get a tool can now build anything that they want. And BridgeSpace is that tool. It has enabled me to build so much and get to $90,000 in ARR. And I want to get to 100, but I want to help you. And that's how I'm going to get to 100,000 is by helping you and building the best product possible. And that's why I use BridgeSpace every day. And it's pretty much the only vibe coding tool that I use because it's the best on the market. But with that being said, if you guys haven't already liked, subscribed, or joined the BridgeMind Discord community, which is the home of the vibe coding movement, make sure you do so. I'll be live on stream right after this video finishes for day 167. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the future.